Well, I was very fortunate to be in New York at the time, and I had the honor of working for a group called the Channel Group. And I'd seen how they had successfully commercialized benchtop science all the way through to the market, so NASDAQ listings or trade sales, and created a lot of human value through that as well. At the time, New Zealand was punching above its weight, as it does in lots of areas. One was scientific publications, but actually our translation of that into capital value, into commercial value, was the lowest in the OECD. There wasn't a substantial venture capital industry. So we thought there was also a commercial opportunity to work with these really world-class innovators and apply the skill sets of commercialization and eventually apply capital, human talent, entrepreneurship, and see if we could help them develop all the way through to market. So the first step was actually forming the company, and that was back late 2004, and we really got going early 2005. I remember being in a lift with some former colleagues. It was quite a busy lift, and I was at the back, and one of them said, did you hear Brent started that firm? He's going to try and invest into different things, and it's going to take years, blah, blah, blah. And they were tut-tutting about the fact that it probably wouldn't work. And they could well have been right, but we were quite determined to make sure it did work.
I trained at a place called MIT, which I think has a reputation of being one of the most innovative universities in the world. And that rubs off on you. And innovation is distinct from managing people. So the nice thing about working for little companies, it's more like a family. And it really means that you don't have the bureaucracy, the politics of larger companies. You can really focus on invention and development of products for the marketplace. But you need this critical mass of money and people to make it successful. And to do that, you need external capital, private capital that's prepared to invest. And the government helps as well. And that's been a cornerstone here, is that the New Zealand government has bellied up to say, we'll allot you, not the whole lot, but a substantial amount, you bring in the other. So when Brent talked to me about New Zealand, I thought this would be interesting to come and help see how we build this. So right in the beginning, Brent and I talked about Pacific Channel potentially being the Macquarie Bank of New Zealand. And it's been a long journey, it takes a long time.
So we were a very new lab, very outwardly faced, trying to solve problems for New Zealand industry in particular, with really exotic laser pulses. And someone from Pacific Channel had heard about us, took me out for coffee and said there are 5 big problems facing the dairy industry. One of them was sorting sperm by sex. They said, can you do anything about this? At that time, I was saying yes to absolutely everything. And I said, sure, absolutely. We can sort sperm by sex with lasers. It really came about because of an equal partnership between the science team in the university, the one that I was leading, and Pacific Channel, the team that Brent was leading here. So Pacific Channel developed the business case, all of the commercial stuff. I didn't know anything about it. I probably drove Brent crazy. He was very naive on the business side. But they were very naive on the science side. And the fact that we had respect for each other's strengths, that we were able to work together on common ground and really lift Engender together is, I think, why it's successful. Engender was eventually acquired by an overseas animal genetics firm for 75 times return on investment to our early investors. That's a fantastic story. The company's still going.
I started as a geneticist, have a 10-year academic career behind me, and then moved into the biotech scene in Europe, which was the late 90s. Learned how to build venture capital syndicates. So I knew from the technology side the science. I knew from the economy side, basically through public offering, through investments, through dealing with syndicates, what is the crunch part of the financials you need to deliver, what is a product, what is a roadmap towards a product, do you have a market, what is the dynamics of that market. So if I do due diligence, if I work with companies or potential companies, you need to be really sure that this technology will be superior, that this technology will be disruptive, and people are absolutely important. without the right people, without the entrepreneurs you can trust, without a supportive environment, I think even top-notch technologies are prone to fail. So what else outside of money is the technology and the people and the environment where this entity is being placed initially.
My partners and I in the Channel Group in New York City first met Brent in 2001 when he was the New Zealand Consul and Trade Commissioner to New York. New Zealand had a long history of global leadership and innovation built upon its significant biology-based industries, whose products represented the largest export sector of its economy. Growth of the New Zealand biotech industry, in the broadest sense, would require a vision that was quite different from that which drove the primary industry sectors, and consequently would require skills, experience, and investment horizons that also were different. Because of the enormous potential we saw within the country, we authored a report for the government that we entitled, quote, "Bold Steps, New Horizons," in which several areas were highlighted as being essential for the further development of the domestic industry. I'm very pleased that Pacific Channel has helped to deliver several important parts of that vision.
I'm incredibly proud of what we've achieved in helping some of our companies, grow, deliver value in the marketplace, have an impact in the world, and return capital to themselves as founders and to us as investors.
Innovation is the driver of growth, okay? That's the only way New Zealand can grow. That's the only way any country can grow. And I think it's the real exciting thing is seeing the industry mature. And I think the Pacific Channel's, at the stage where it's going to go through the next growth phase, a bigger fund, and invest in later stage companies larger amounts, and really start to take some of these smaller investments and grow them into significant companies.